that we're live.
On your live?
Yeah. Go to my page and see if it says we live. Facebook. Are you gonna hit record on yours?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you live, dog.
We live? No, do me a favor. Go to YouTube and see if we also live on YouTube.
I need to do the same thing.
Yeah. See if we live on YouTube. There's really no way for me to troubleshoot this outside of in the moment, y'all. Sorry.
Shane?
If anybody, first of all, no. Maria. And I should be under your subscriptions. Chantel Maria. Come on now. It's not that a little crazy.
Chantel Maria.
Look at you. Call.
I'm not so
and we live.
Oh, you live?
We live, buddy. Alright, we in here. You need to hit yours on your camera though. Hey, you gonna do your camera?
Yeah.
And also mute that.
Well, why we so light? Why we look like we?
Well, I look my color and you look yours. So I don't know exactly what else you want to happen here. All right, hurry up, hit your button so we can get started.
I gotta go. I
got somewhere to be at 10:30.
Where you going? Where you going?
I gotta be in bed. Not even in bed, but I need to get out.
Some of them periods need to be question mark. Oh God.
Oh. Yes, don't hit live until you turn it sideways. Okay. Because you already know how you are. Oh, but see what it doesn't do? It doesn't let me change the title. Maybe it does later. We'll see. Oh.
The Black Exodus.
Yeah. You gotta change it. Your stuff ready or no?
Or no.
Or no. I don't mean to sound funny, but your perfume smells like your daddy's got money. Bird, you disgust me.
We live.
Yeah? Look at God being gracious.
I want to see them comments though.
No. Them comments had all the stuff to say last time.
You gotta interact.
Yeah, he just not taking me serious about doing this.
You gotta have an interaction. First of all, I've been taking you serious. No, you weren't. I just had to make that, get that time right.
Did it keep? I don't know if it's gonna stay up. Did it stay up? Maybe. I don't know. I couldn't tell because the camera. I feel like the camera went away.
Still going.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh yeah.
All right. So keep that up so I can make sure that this still goes.
We live.
For some reason, turns off.
What's up, y'all?
All right. So, I guess
my comment though.
There they go.
Oh, there they go.
You can't keep getting up like this.
I can't do it. I can't. Let me pull it
like just go pull it up on pull up your Facebook too over here.
Yeah.
Cause this up and down, you be blocking the whole thing.
Yeah.
All right, hey everybody, we're gonna get started. I was trying to see if I could stream to 2 different platforms at once, and I can. But the only way to really figure that out was to do it in the moment. Otherwise, it would just look kind of, I don't know. I've just been having to go live randomly all throughout the day. But we figured it out, got it going. So, I mean, y'all on our Facebook pages, so y'all are probably people who know us. But I'm trying to tell Maria.
Bookie.
And this is Big Phil, my brother and me. So we're going to talk today about a topic that recently came up across my Instagram, and my YouTube. And so he hit me up about doing another podcast, and I was just like, well, let's just do this topic. Let's just go ahead with this. So that's what we're doing. We're going to be talking about the Black Exodus today, but
before we do that, like, share,
subscribe, comment,
all of that.
Get it to your friends. Well, I don't know. It might be.
Yeah,
it's going to be a pretty interesting conversation. But before we get into that, what you had going this weekend?
What did I have going this weekend?
Did you put out something new?
I did not. I got the Bad collection still available to ladies.
Shirts.
Get your Bad merch available. You know what I'm saying, on Linktree, Big Phil, or you can go to worshipfolkswag.com. All of that good stuff. You know what I'm saying.
When I repost this, I'll put all of his links in the in the description box, so that y'all can cop that. You got a promo code out?
I went over the no.
Oh no.
No promo code.
No.
That's good. And listen,
it's quality.
It's quality. And right now you can pick up one for $20.
$20. That's a deal.
That's a deal right now.
Because I just bought I don't know if you follow them. You know Anthony O'Neal, his brother Glenn and Yvette.
Yeah, shout out to Believe. That's my homeboy. Yeah.
It is?
Yes.
I love him.
That's my guy.
Oh my God, I love him and Yvette. So they just released a collection, the Love Collection, and I wanted to support. So I bought like a bunch of stuff from them. And I was just like, I bought stickers because Uriah is what I want my future child to be like. Uriah, Anaya, I love them. Anyway.
They're fun.
Yeah. But yeah, I bought some stuff from them and it was more than $20, so we good to go. Anyways, what did I have?
I went to 1122 this weekend. They had a saturated conference. And I went over and led worship over there with the team, with the Police House. And we went ahead and church.
I don't know much about 1122.
Yeah, shout out to them over there.
Shout out to y'all over there 1122. What did I have this weekend? I had my jit with me, Pilar. Everybody who follows me knows my jit. Pilar be with me. She be riding. We had donuts. We watched church. She's actually really, really, really inquisitive right now about God and the Trinity and the Holy Spirit. So we spent Sunday just digging into that.
Let's go now.
Yeah. She impresses me all the time.
Let's go.
Yeah. So we watched one of the resources that I used or gave to her was Preston Perry Bold TV, where he pretty much he's a gift to the world with the way that he's able to have like apologetic conversations with people from all different walks of life and faith and stuff like that. Yeah. And so we watched a good amount of those videos because she called me one night and was just like, "Hey, so can you explain the the Trinity to me?" And I was like, "Huh, all right, yeah,
that's fine."
So
that's fine.
that was pretty much my weekend.
Jays.
The Jags won.
Football season started.
The Jags are undefeated. Period. We going to the playoffs.
Period is trending right now, so undefeated. Period. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to take that from us right now. This is week 1, and we undefeated, and we number 1 in the division.
Period.
So you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But yeah, football started back.
What did they do? Oh, no, I didn't like what they did during the anthems. I was like, y'all went in the locker room during the Lift Every Voice.
Yeah, they ain't come out at all.
For none of it. I was like, no, y'all should have walked back out.
Shout out to Coach Wright. Frank Wright. His name Coach Wright or Frank Wright? Coach Wright of the Indianapolis Colts. Well, took a knee. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, good.
Well, took a knee, bro.
Right there?
Mm-hmm.
Good job, my guy.
Took a knee.
All right. So, enough of that. Just make sure that is going on.
Yeah, I think you rocking. Yep, you rocking.
All right, just checking. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So, what we're talking about, I have this passion planner because,
Hey, y'all share,
like, comment, all that stuff, please. So we talking about the Black Exodus. I'm pretty much explaining what I mean when I say the Black Exodus. The Black Exodus is what has been happening. Can they hear all that's going on over there? The TV in the other room?
Can y'all hear the game? That's game 1 Eastern Conference.
Tell us if y'all can hear that so you can turn it off or down or something. I don't know if you're just trying to get them ratings or what. But it's loud. And I'm already working hard to let them talk, y'all. So, progress, I guess. But anyway, he knows what I'm finna say. So, when we talk about the Black Exodus, we're talking about, like, within the last couple of years, there has been, like, well, let's go back some. Within the last 10 or so years, I want to say 10 years. like within the last 10 years, there was like a migration of black Christians who grew up in black churches that left and went to these white evangelical churches, mega churches and stuff like that.
We don't want to say white. We want to say multicultural, multi-ethnic. We want to be a little
white evangelical led, multicultural churches.
White evangelical led.
Yeah,
that's what we'll
multicultural churches. And so that happened like within the last 10 years. I think there was like a good group that migrated out. Yep. For whatever reason that they did.
Give some reasons.
No, that's what I'm saying. For whatever reason that they left, they did leave.
Okay.
But within the last 2, 3, maybe 4 years, because I started doing some research on it, and there's like some conversation that date back about 4 or 5 years. Black people have been now leaving the white evangelical led churches and going back home to the black churches that they grew up in,
or
just another black church. A black church in general, not necessarily back to their place of origin, for lack of a better term. And so that's what we want to. That's what we're talking about today. And so
it's been real. Yeah. That's a real interesting topic for both of us, because I think we can say in our own way we both did experience that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Different circumstances, but Correct. We still both did it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, I guess, you know, I can go off. I would want to know, you tell me, why you think, like, what was your experience? What were you looking for when you decided to make that change? Like, what was going on in your mind when you said, I think this is something I gotta do. I gotta make this move.
Yeah. So my reason for leaving is completely different, I feel like, from anybody else's reason for leaving their specific church. Like, I left the church that I had pretty much been grown up in, like pretty much my foundational church. I had been there since I was like 14. I left there because I don't like when people say this, but I'm gonna say it. Like, I left partly out of like a little bit of church hurt, not church hurt, but people hurt from the church that I was in. And I wasn't where I was at in that time. I was no longer able to respect or uphold the leadership that I was under at that time. So in an effort to maintain my my walk or just my church life in general, I decided that I needed to go out and try churches. But I'm not a girl. I didn't grow up with that. So my mom and me, we only went to, I think my mom now can say that she's maybe been a part of 3 churches since I've been alive. But we don't church hop.
In the black community, you won't be doing all that church
hopping stuff. So I only had one other church that I had experience with prior to apart from the church that I was in at that time. So I wasn't trying to go and see what they had over there and they had over there and they had over there. I just went to a church that I was like, okay, let's just see what they got over here. And so when I did that, for where I was at that time, I was able to be fed. And so I was like, okay, well, I want to go. I need to rearrange myself, and so I wanted to go into that church. But what I quickly found out was that it was diverse for the sake of like being diverse, like not for any real. There was no real spiritual like reasoning behind the want for being diverse. It was mainly just because they knew it would look bad if it was only white people in there. And so, yeah, that was just my experience. That was how I wound up getting into a white-led church.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, mine is different. You know what I'm saying? I had a great opportunity to be a part of a church plant. And it was at the beginning stages of it. And just was presented with a faith move to kind of step out and to really see, is this something that I believe God really put in me to do, as far as who I am, period, like a career, whatever the case may be when it comes to music and worship and stuff like that. So I kind of did the same thing as opposed to just taking that leap. So mine, even though mine was kind of different, but it was still like, okay, I think it's kind of time to do. I didn't have no issues with where I came from, but you know, I kind of feel like this. You know, sometimes you have to do what you have to do. That can't be the only reason. That if you got a problem with where you came from, you just want to just up and leave. Some of y'all might disagree. Tell me, put it in the comments. I'll check it out and look. You know what I'm saying? But I just don't feel like you just need to leave a church just because the church pissed you off or made you mad or, you know, that type of thing. There has to be something else that kind of go along with that, because people going to piss you off wherever you go. You know what I'm saying? Which is henceforth, while you see an exodus of people that coming back home. People that coming back home or people going to other churches. Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? You know, our situations are kind of different. So I said, when me and Shannon said we was going to talk about this, I had some questions and I said why. And I want some of y'all to put in the comments if you've experienced that. I'm gonna read the comments. If you experienced that and you got your reasons for what you did, then put it in there and let us know and we'll talk about it. You know what I'm saying? If you don't mind. But I'm trying to figure out. I think my biggest issue, Tina, she said, "Hey, what up, team? What up?" So I think my biggest issue with the whole thing is that it's like, we can go ahead on and say it. I'm gonna just keep it 100. We was looking for something, right?
Sure.
We was looking for something, and most of the time when you looking for something, you insinuating that where you at don't got it.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Sure. They don't have it, and you know what I mean. So what you was looking for, like?
It wasn't a matter. Well, first of all, let me just state this. The church that I was at is where I got is where I got my theological training. And I mean that in the fullness of that term.
Absolutely.
That's where I got my theological training. That is why you can't trick me. You can't fool me. Like, I'm solid. We solid. So it wasn't. I wasn't looking for someone who could bring me a word. Gotcha. I just needed to be under somebody who, at that moment, I could respect. And at that moment, I wasn't in a place where I could respect everybody who was like seemingly over me, for reasons that we'll possibly talk about in another podcast at a later date. You don't even need to go into.
We're not. Later date.
So, but with that, what I was looking for honestly was to be unknown. I wanted to be unknown at a church. I wanted to be new at a church. I wanted to have, because we go through these things where they say that I can't remember. Familiarity breeds contempt or something like that. Yeah. And pretty much when you grow up in front of people, and he does this to me all the time. To him, I'm still 13 and a half when he met me. And yes, he does. And he'll be still thinking like, well, Shan, that's just how you are. And I'm like, no, that's how I was 20 years ago. Like not 20. Now I'm not that old yet, but that's what he does, and that's what people will do. And so I needed to get away from that. I also was tired of working so hard for somebody and feeling like it just was like whatever. So I decided to go somewhere where no one knew me, where I could just be somebody in the crowd, and that's what I got. Where I went that is exactly what I got, because it was just a huge church, and there was an appeal to having so many different types of people around me. And what I can say is the leader at the church that I wound up going to, I don't go there anymore, but the leader at the church that I wound up going to, one of the very first sermons he preached was Jesus and race. And I was sitting in there like, okay, Jesus. Like, if you don't want me to come here, just say you don't want me to come here. Like, it's not a problem. But it actually was a very good message. And I was able to, what I felt in that moment was, okay, this guy has a heart for something. But as I was there, I noticed that the leader having a heart for something and not having the appropriate staff or the people underneath him to also have the heart, that same heart, that's what really kind of kills it. It's because you can, I like, it's just like parents. You can want your children to do so much, you can want so much for them, but if that child is going a different route or just can't get it, they just not gonna get it. And it's like, you have to really get into the root of that, and that's hard to do. It's hard to confront. And so I was like, I literally would say, like, he could do so much more, and there could be so much more actual true diversity in this church if he just got rid of a lot of his staff who didn't feel the same as he did.
Why you feel like that man got to why you feel like this person got to get rid of, you know what I'm saying? Because...
So, here's an example of an instance. And I actually asked a couple friends what they thought about this whole situation. And one of my friends, our sister Jay, she was telling me a story. And it was so similar to a story that I had. So, I had been a part of the praise team at my church. And so... I went over there, and after some months, it took a long time because I was like, I ain't really trying to be, I don't want to get to know these leaders. I don't really want to know these people. Mm-hmm. I just want to, let me go to these small groups and make a few friends here and there, and let me just be that. Right. But eventually I was like, well, you need to be, like, I'm not used to not being active in the work of the church. So I was like, okay, I went ahead and went to do like the whole praise team trials thing, and one of the actual trainings, and they did this whole thing, and I was like, well, this is actually kind of silly, the way their training was. But one of their leaders sat in front of us and was like, you know, he basically said, like, they are very purposeful with the number of black people on stage, Asian people on stage, Hispanic, white. Like, they're very specific with that. So some people, he said it in front of me, and I was just like, you're not supposed to be, because I've been saved a long time, but a lot of the people who were there were younger, and, you know, they were new converts. So I'm just like, why are you saying this? Like, this is not your staff meeting where you can have this conversation open and outward. And he was just like, yeah, we, you know, everything has to be a certain way, and that's why, you know, sometimes we have a certain amount of black people. We want to make sure that there's a certain amount of Hispanic people. And I'm just like, are you telling me that you really are saying out your mouth that you have a quota for what your praise and worship team looks like? But then I come to find out, not only do you have a quota, but once you get these black and brown people on your stage, you only want them to sing the black songs that's got them, that makes them have to like holler or be outward, like to show an outward appearance of like, she's really black. Look at how she sings this song. Oh. And like they pull, what's that song that we used to sing all the time? Lord, you are good and your mercy. Like, that was a new song to them at one point. Like, within the last 5 years. That was a new song to them.
That's 20 years old.
20. And they made this one black lady sing that song every time she got on that stage. And I was just like, first of all, this song is super old. Like, I don't know why y'all pulled this song out of y'all's hat. But then it's like, that lady's voice, for any other song that lady has led, why did y'all put her for this? Like, you just had to have this black lady sing this song. And I could have told them that the white lady who was leading praise and worship probably would have done a better job. I've had to do that recently. Like, people will be like, I think your voice sounds great on this song. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. That's not my song. You actually should give that to her, because it's actually a much better song for her range. She likes to holler. Like, let her do it. Just because she white, like, it's okay. Like, I don't have to. Give me Oceans. Let me do Oceans. I'm okay with that.
So I mean, I feel all of that. You know what I'm saying?
They did that to you.
I mean, yeah, you have that. You like, you gonna have that. I'm gonna kind of talk a little bit about that a little later. You know what I'm saying? but so this my thing. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm what you would call a ex-millennial.
No, he's not.
So I'm a millennial
You're just a millennial.
Just, you know what I'm saying, from an age.
You letting them old people trick you out.
But
you are a millennial.
I'm a millennial. I kind of, you know what I'm saying.
It's
like,
not a bad word.
I got ways. It's not a bad thing,
but
I got a lot of culture from Gen X.
So did all of us.
You know what I'm saying?
Because we're all millennials. We all got culture from them.
Yeah, but so like there was a whole bunch of young folks saying, I gotta get the hell out of Dodge. All right, if you was black and you grew up in a church, and it wasn't even just if you were just trying to go to a church that got white people in it, you were just trying to go somewhere. Period. Yeah. If you grew up in a specific church,
you were just like,
yeah, I want to go somewhere different. This because that was just considered your mama church. That was considered your daddy church.
I feel like that was a man thing.
My grandmama church. Yeah, I mean, it could have been.
Girls, we be straight.
Yeah,
but I felt forced out. So I was like, I really could have stayed here for a long time.
It could have been, but like so. I think, you know what I mean. If we just be honest, there was a need for like finding who you are as an individual.
Yes.
I think social media played a huge part in young people saying, yo, it's time to, you know what I'm saying, get out for various reasons. Okay? We could start with, you know, the word, but production, quality, cosmetic, the look, like all of that play a part with young people. Like young people, no disrespect, they just that's just not it. The Israel ain't it. They were just looking for something new. There was a culture that was kind of brewing that in most black churches it wasn't going down.
And you know what?
You know what I'm saying?
So I was listening to something earlier today, and I wish I would have wrote this man's name down, but I didn't. Sorry. But he said this thing, and it made me remember. He called it like a white normative concept, pretty much. And I remember growing up, and I used to listen. This is the type of child I was. I've been oily. I used to watch Benny Hinn and them, like when I would get dressed for school. Okay, like I would watch Benny Hinn, Taffy Dollar, all the people that they hate nowadays. But Benny Hinn, Taffy Dollar, Creflo, like that's what I would watch before I went to school. But then, like, you know, sometimes on those channels, like it would have like white people worshiping. And I remember blatantly hearing black people say, see, white people really know how to worship. Because they would like have their hands lifted and they would just be so like calm and peaceful. And they'd be like, see, white people know how to worship. White people really worship. And then you get around white people who don't actually know how to worship. And you're like, well, what y'all doing? Because I actually, like, this ain't what it was. And so I think that played a big role in what people started looking for when it came time to like, all right, well, I'm looking for something else, because we got this thing that like when white people are doing something, that's the norm.
Yeah.
When they're doing something, this is how it should be done. And so how they worship is how we want to work. We just want to whisper, and we just want to talk to our God, Daddy God, and we just want to tell him how much we love him, and we just want to worship him. And that worship is fine, but the narrative behind it was this was better. How white people are worshiping is better, and the way we're worshiping is not better, and is not good enough, or not equal or same. But now I get to this age, because prior, like I don't really even know hymns, and honestly, Kirk Franklin and them is good enough for me when it comes to hymns and stuff like that. But there is a point where, and I remember my grandma and my mama always saying like, sometimes you need something a little bit more, a little bit different. And there's like a craving inside my soul for a good shout. Like there are weeks that you go through and you just really need to get it off of you. That shouting, he cries on stage. Yeah, so whatever. But what I'm saying, like, but see, you finna do it. You was finna do it. See what you was finna do? He was finna do it.
I was.
They told us that it shouldn't be emotional, but that's a part of us. We're emotional